Ever wake up from a dream, you're like, what in the world was that? Like my brain just dropped a cryptic message and ran off.
Yeah.
Well, in this deep dive, we're turning you into your own dream detective.
Ooh, I like that.
We are going to be going deep into the book, How to Interpret Your Dreams,
Okay.
which tackles the history, the psychology, even some spiritual takes on dream interpretation.
Lots to cover.
We had a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So by the end of this, you'll have the knowledge and the techniques to start decoding those nightly adventures and figuring out what your subconscious is trying to tell you.
Right.
I'm already hooked.
Yeah.
So has dream interpretation always been a thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Did people in ancient times freak out about weird dreams too?
Imagine ancient Romans taking their dreams to the Senate to analyze them.
Wait, hold on.
Dreams
How?
have captivated humanity for centuries.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
That's wild. So like senators be like, okay, so you dreamt about a giant talking snail last night.
Uh-huh.
What could it mean?
Exactly.
That's amazing.
It highlights how seriously dreams were taken.
Yeah.
Even go back further, to 3000 to 4000 BC, we see dream interpretations documented on clay tablets.
Wow.
People have always looked for meaning in those nighttime visions.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Because our brains are just wired to find patterns and stories.
Right.
So it's natural to want to understand those dream narratives.
That is.
But did those early interpretations, hold up over time?
Well, some ancient societies, they believed dreams were another reality,
Oh.
even a more powerful one.
Okay.
The Greeks and Romans saw dreams as messages from the gods,
Okay.
even building temples for dream healing.
Wow.
And the Egyptians, they meticulously recorded their dreams in hieroglyphics.
Wow. Talk about dedication.
Yeah.
So they were pretty optimistic about the power of dreams.
Yeah, they were. But
It wasn't all sunshine and roses, right?
right. Dreams were also viewed as warnings,
Uh-huh.
omens, or even the work of demons.
Okay.
So there's always been this mix of hope and fear around dreams.
Yeah, that definitely still exists today.
Mhm.
We're fascinated by dreams, but they can also totally creep us out.
Right.
So how did modern psychology, approach this whole dream thing?
Right.
Enter Freud, Jung, and Cayce,
Exactly.
each offering these, radically different perspectives that still shape how we interpret dreams today.
They do.
Okay, so let's break down these dream titans, starting with Freud.
Okay.
He's the one who made the unconscious, famous. Right.
He is.
Okay.
Freud believed dreams were wish fulfillments,
Mm-hmm.
often with a heavy emphasis on hidden sexual desires.
Okay.
While some of his ideas haven't aged very
I
well.
was going to say, that sounds a little outdated.
It does.
Yeah.
But Freud's work was groundbreaking in recognizing the importance of symbolism
Okay.
and uncovering hidden meanings beneath the surface of those seemingly random dream images.
So even if his specific interpretations aren't always spot on,
Right.
he kind of opened up this whole new way of thinking about dreams.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Then we have Jung, who actually studied under Freud,
Okay.
but eventually broke away because
Ah.
he disagreed with that focus on sexual desires.
The classic mentor-student rivalry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did Jung think dreams were all about?
Well, Jung believed dreams were a window to the unconscious,
Okay.
but for him it was more about psychological and spiritual growth
Okay.
rather than hidden desires.
Okay.
He thought dreams guided us toward wholeness by bringing those hidden parts of ourselves,
Okay.
what he called the shadow.
Hold on, Shadow.
Yeah.
I need a little more on that.
It's a great concept.
Oh.
Imagine all the parts of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge.
Okay.
Fears, insecurities,
Okay.
negative emotions.
Uh-huh.
We often push those aspects down into our unconscious,
Yeah.
but they still influence us.
Right.
Jung believed dreams help us integrate those shadow aspects
Okay.
so we can become more whole and balanced.
So dream interpretation isn't just about deciphering symbols. It's about understanding ourselves better.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then we have Cayce,
Okay.
who brings a completely different perspective to the table.
Well, right.
Cayce was a psychic
Mm-hmm.
who claimed to access knowledge from a higher source,
Okay.
and he believed dreams were spiritual journeys,
Okay.
offering guidance on health, relationships, and even past lives.
Wow. So we've got dreams as wish fulfillment, dreams as a guide to wholeness,
Right.
and dreams as spiritual adventures.
Yes.
That's a lot of possibilities.
It is.
So where do we even start?
Where,
Were we talking about every kind of dream here?
that's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The book breaks down different types of dreams
Okay.
from the everyday daydreams we all experience.
Oh, yeah, those zoning out during a meeting daydreams?
Exactly.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there are lucid dreams
Okay.
where you're actually aware you're dreaming and might even be able to control the dream.
What? Control the dream?
Yes.
Sign me up.
Like dream level 2.
That's awesome.
It is.
Okay.
Then we have recurring dreams, which often try to tell us something important.
Okay.
And of course, the dreaded nightmares
Yeah.
that can leave us feeling anxious even after we wake up.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite dream category.
Right.
Okay, but we'll get to those later.
Yes.
What about those super vivid, almost cinematic dreams that feel like epic movies?
Yeah.
Or those dreams that feel prophetic, like they're predicting the future?
The book touches on those as well.
Okay.
Healing dreams, prophetic dreams,
Okay.
epic dreams.
Okay.
They're all part of the dream landscape.
Got it.
But for now, let's focus on a key question.
Okay.
Why do we even dream in the first place?
Okay. I'm ready to unlock the secrets of the sleeping brain.
Well, the book presents a fascinating explanation.
Okay.
Dreams are essentially our brain's way of processing emotions,
Okay.
memories,
Okay.
and even random stimuli that we don't consciously deal with during the day.
So it's like our brain is working overtime even when we're supposed to be resting.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's constantly sorting through experiences, trying to make sense of the world. And dreams are a byproduct of that process.
So if we ignore our dreams, we're essentially missing out on valuable insights from our own subconscious.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's like ignoring a message from a part of ourselves that has a lot to say.
Wow.
And that brings us to the power of remembering those dreams.
Okay. Because I am definitely guilty of forgetting most of my dreams, like within minutes of waking up. So what are the benefits of actually remembering those fleeting visions?
Remembering your dreams can boost self-awareness, spark creativity, and even help you solve problems that you've been struggling with.
Okay.
It's like tapping into a wellspring of hidden knowledge within yourself.
That's awesome.
It is.
But isn't there also a potential downside? Like, what if our dreams confront us with things that we don't want to see? Those shadow aspects that Jung talked about.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dreams can be unsettling.
Yeah.
But remember, those uncomfortable truths are often the key to personal growth.
Okay.
Facing those shadow aspects, even in dream form, can ultimately be incredibly liberating.
So it's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
Exactly.
Okay.
It might sting at first,
Yeah.
but it's necessary for healing.
Got it.
But here's the challenge.
Okay.
We forget a staggering 90% of our dreams within just 10 minutes of waking up.
90%. No wonder I can barely remember what I dreamt about last night.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So how do we actually hold on to those valuable insights? How do we remember those dreams?
Well, the book suggests several techniques.
Okay.
And it's all about finding what works best for you.
Okay.
Keeping a dream journal by your bed
Okay.
and writing down everything immediately upon waking is key.
So even if it's just like random fragments, I should just scribble it all down?
Yes.
Okay.
Those seemingly insignificant details
Yeah.
could hold surprising meaning later on.
Right.
The book also suggests using the prompt.
Okay.
What does this remind me of?
Okay.
To connect those dream images with your waking life experiences.
It's like building bridges between those two worlds, the waking and the dreaming.
Exactly.
Okay.
And here's a tip that sounds almost too simple to work before you go to sleep. Repeat the phrase.
Okay.
I will remember my dreams.
Wait, really? Just saying that will help.
It might sound strange,
Yeah.
but it's about setting an intention.
Okay.
By planting that seed in your subconscious,
Yeah.
you're priming your mind to pay attention to those nighttime messages.
Okay. I'm definitely trying that tonight.
Good.
But once we've actually remembered those dreams, how do we decipher all those symbols and bizarre scenarios?
Right.
How do we actually interpret what those dreams are trying to tell us?
That's where the real fun begins.
Okay.
And the book offers some incredibly useful techniques.
Okay.
One of the most intriguing is called the I am and I need formula.
Ooh.
Have you heard of that?
Okay. I am all ears. Tell me more.
This formula provides a framework for understanding the emotional core of your dreams.
Okay.
You start by underlining the negative and positive words in your dream journal entry.
So like words like scared, angry, or happy, excited.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then you create 2 columns.
Okay.
I am for those negative words, and I need for the positive ones.
Okay. So it's like separating the dream into 2 contrasting energies.
Precisely.
Got it.
Then you identify the dream's main subject matter.
Okay.
Often indicated by the location of the dream.
Okay.
Like a school, a forest, or even your childhood home.
Got it.
Finally, you fit those underlined words into specific sentences to reveal insights.
Whoa, hold on. I need an example.
Of course.
This sounds super intriguing, but I'm not sure I'm following completely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's say you dreamt you were lost in a forest.
Okay.
Feeling scared and alone. You might have underlined words like lost, scared, dark, and alone in the I am column.
Okay.
Then in the I need column, maybe you underlined words like safe, connected, and guidance.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this works.
Yeah.
So how do those words translate into insights?
The book provides specific sentences to help you connect those feelings with the dream's subject matter.
Okay.
For example, you might fill in the sentence, I am lost in the forest of, with something like, I am lost in the forest of my career choices. Or, I am lost in the forest of my relationships.
Okay, that makes so much sense.
Right.
Like those dream symbols are metaphors for what's happening in our waking lives.
Exactly. And the I need column provides clues about what you might be lacking or longing for. In our forest example, you might fill in the sentence, I need to feel safe and connected in. With something like, I need to feel safe and connected in my relationships. Or, I need to feel safe and connected in my own skin.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is.
So we're not just interpreting random symbols. We're uncovering our deepest needs and anxieties.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
And the beauty of this technique is that it's highly personal. You're not relying on some generic dream dictionary. But using your own intuition and understanding of your life experiences to decode those messages.
This is already blowing my mind.
Good.
I'm starting to see how dream interpretation can be a powerful tool for self-discovery.
It is. And remember, you are the expert on your own dreams. This formula just provides a framework, starting point for your explorations.
Okay, so we've got this amazing formula. But I know what everyone's really curious about, the symbols. Everyone wants to know what those weird recurring images actually mean. Right.
And the book delves into some of the most common dream symbols, emphasizing that context is key. A symbol can have multiple meanings depending on the individual and the specific dream.
So no more frantically Googling, what does it mean to dream about a talking cactus? And getting some random one-size-fits-all interpretation.
Exactly. It's about looking at the bigger picture, the overall feeling and narrative of the dream. But let's explore some of those common symbols. The ones that often pop up. And leave people wondering, what was that all about?
Hit me with those dream symbols. What are the ones that are most likely to intrigue a learner like myself?
Let's start with a classic. Teeth falling out. I'm sure you've had that dream at some point.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
It's always so unsettling. Like something is literally crumbling away.
And it's one of those symbols that can have many layers of meaning. The book suggests it often relates to a loss of voice, anxieties about appearance, or even potential cultural interpretations.
So it's not necessarily about my dentist yelling at me to floss more?
Not always.
It
could reflect feeling unheard or powerless in a situation, anxieties about how you're perceived by others, or even deeper feels about aging and mortality.
Wow.
Interestingly, in some cultures, dreaming of teeth falling out is seen as an omen of illness or even death in the family.
Whoa, that took a dark turn.
It did. But remember, context is everything. And different cultures have different interpretations.
Moving on to a more uplifting symbol. Flying. Those dreams always feel so liberating.
They do. And that's often what they symbolize: freedom, sense of power, overcoming limitations. But pay attention to the details. If the flight is difficult, it might point to anxieties. Or a sense of struggling to achieve your goals.
So if I'm soaring effortlessly, it's a good sign. But if I'm like flapping my arms frantically and barely staying aloft, maybe there's something I need to address.
Exactly. It's those nuances that reveal the deeper meaning. The book also mentions that flying dreams can be linked to lucid dreaming. That awareness of being in a dream state and possibly even controlling it.
I'm adding lucid dreaming to my must-learn list.
Good.
What about being naked in a dream? That one can be mortifying.
It's a surprisingly common dream theme.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like other symbols, it can have multiple meanings depending on the context.
Okay.
The book suggests it often relates to vulnerability, fear of exposure, or if the dreamer feels proud of their nakedness, even freedom and self-acceptance.
So it's not always about that classic nightmare scenario of like being caught with your pants down in public.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Think about the location and your emotions in the dream.
Okay.
Were you ashamed? Or did you feel comfortable in your own skin?
Okay.
Those details matter.
Okay, that makes sense. It's all about those subtle cues.
Yes.
Okay, what about being chased?
Okay.
Because that's one dream I definitely do not enjoy.
Chase dreams are very common and often linked to anxiety in waking life. It's like our brains are literally running from something.
Like a deadline I'm trying to avoid, or maybe a difficult conversation I'm putting off.
Exactly.
Okay.
It could be anything that's causing stress. Or a sense of being overwhelmed.
Okay.
The book even suggests that the chaser might represent a part of yourself that you're trying to outrun, like unresolved anger, fear, or guilt.
Whoa. So instead of running away, maybe I should try facing that chaser in my dream.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
The book doesn't explicitly mention that, but it could be a powerful way to confront those anxieties head on, at least in the dream world.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Good.
Next symbol, falling.
Good.
Another one that makes my stomach lurch, even though I know it's just a dream.
It is a common one.
Yeah.
Falling dreams are very common.
Okay.
And often relate to insecurities, loss of control, or feeling overwhelmed. It's that sensation of things slipping away, that feeling of helplessness.
So not always a good sign.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But it's definitely worth exploring those feelings of instability or insecurity in your waking life.
Okay.
Interestingly, the book also mentions a potential physiological link to those sudden muscle spasms we sometimes experience as we're falling asleep, called myoclonic jerks.
Yeah.
They can actually trigger falling dreams.
So sometimes it's just my body being weird, not necessarily a deep-seated psychological issue.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a relief.
And finally, let's talk about a dream symbol that's particularly relevant to our learner persona.
Okay.
Taking an exam.
Oh, this one brings back memories, not the good kind.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a common dream theme.
Yeah.
Often reflecting anxieties about performance being scrutinized. Or even self-esteem issues.
Okay.
But remember, it's not about literally failing a test.
Right.
It's about how you felt during the dream.
So even if I aced the test in the dream, if I felt anxious or unprepared, that's still a clue.
Exactly.
Okay.
Those emotions might reflect how you're feeling about challenges in your waking life. Maybe you were facing a big deadline at work.
Okay.
Or you're feeling judged in a relationship.
Yeah.
Those anxieties can easily spill over into our dreams.
So it's like my dream self is reliving those test-taking jitters.
Right.
But this time it's about work deadlines or relationship issues instead of actual exams.
Precisely.
Okay.
And those feelings are worth exploring.
Yeah.
What are those dreams trying to tell you about how you're approaching challenges in your waking life?
Wow, this is eye-opening.
Good.
I'm starting to see how dream symbols can be like these little clues that point to deeper issues.
Yeah.
But we've only just scratched the surface, right? The book mentions tons of other symbol categories.
It does.
Yeah.
You've got animals, people, colors, houses, vehicles, even death.
Wow.
It's a treasure trove of dream interpretation.
Yeah.
But we'll need to delve into those in our next segment.
Okay, I'm already eager to unpack those.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I'm curious, what about those dreams that aren't quite nightmares, but still leave us feeling disturbed or confused? The book calls them disturbing dreams, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And those can be particularly challenging to interpret.
Okay.
Because they often don't have clear-cut symbolism, like the common dream themes we've discussed.
So how do we make sense of those dreams? Do we analyze them the same way?
Well, the book suggests that sometimes it's best to simply let them go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our unconscious isn't always trying to send us a clear, easily interpretable message.
So not every dream needs to be analyzed and dissected.
Exactly.
Okay, that takes some pressure off.
Yeah.
But what if the dream is trying to tell us something important?
Right.
How do we know?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The book offers some clues to look for the themes, strong emotions, or a sense of urgency within the dream.
Okay.
Those are often signs that there's something deeper to explore.
So if I keep having dreams about being lost, or if a dream wakes me up feeling really anxious, those might be red flags.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in those cases, the book recommends journaling about those dream themes, reflecting on their possible meanings, and even talking to a therapist if the dreams are causing significant distress.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we don't need to overanalyze every dream.
Right.
But we should pay attention to those recurring patterns or those dreams that really stick with us.
Exactly.
This is already so much to process.
It is.
We've covered dream history, different theories, and even some common symbols. I feel like my dream dictionary is expanding rapidly, but there's still so much to explore, right?
We've only just begun.
Oh, no.
In our next segment, we'll dive into those additional symbol categories.
Okay.
And tackle those not-so-fun dreams, nightmares.
Okay, I'm both excited and slightly terrified.
Good.
But hey, knowledge is power, right?
It is.
Stay tuned, Dream Explorers.
Right.
All right, Dream Detectives, we're back and ready to decode even more of those mysterious symbols. Last time we explored some common dream themes. But the book mentions a ton of other categories, right?
It does, and these categories can be really helpful jumping off points for your own dream investigations.
Okay.
So let's dive into some of them.
Okay.
Starting with animals. What comes to mind when you think of animals in dreams?
Well, animals can be so unpredictable even in waking life, so I imagine they'd be pretty wild in the dream world too.
Exactly, and that unpredictability is often reflected in their symbolic meanings. The book suggests animals in dreams can represent our instincts, primal desires, our connection to nature, and even our shadow selves.
So, like, if I dream about a soaring eagle, it could represent my ambition and desire for freedom. But if I dream about a snake, maybe it's tapping into some hidden fear or anxiety.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay.
It's all about the context and your personal associations with those animals.
Okay.
And here's an interesting tip from the book.
Okay.
If the animal talks in your dream, pay close attention.
Okay.
It could be a message from your wise inner self.
Whoa, like my spirit animal giving me some sage advice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay, what about people?
Okay.
Those dreams can be so complex because, well, people are complex.
They are, and the book offers a fascinating perspective on this.
Okay.
Every person who appears in your dream might actually represent an aspect of yourself.
Wait, really? So if I dream about my annoying coworker, it's not actually about them?
Not necessarily.
No.
It could be about qualities you associate with that coworker.
Okay.
Maybe they represent micromanaging tendencies, or perhaps a fear of confrontation.
So it's like our dreams are using people we know as symbols to reflect back parts of ourselves that we might not be fully conscious of.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like those people are acting out different roles within your psyche.
Okay.
And those roles can be positive or negative.
Okay.
Maybe you admire your boss's confidence, or perhaps you're struggling with similar power dynamics in your own life.
That's a really insightful way to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, what about babies or pregnancy? Those dreams always feel so symbolic, even in waking life.
They are. And the book suggests that dreaming of pregnancy often symbolizes something new developing within you. It could be a creative project, a new relationship, a shift in your identity, or even a new way of thinking about the world.
So it's not always about literally wanting or expecting a baby. It's more about potential and growth, both personally and creatively.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if the baby in the dream is crying, it might symbolize a part of yourself that's feeling neglected or needing nurturing.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. Okay, let's move on to a category that's a little more, well, adult dreams about sex. Those can be pretty confusing, to say the least.
They can.
Yeah.
But the book offers some interesting insights.
Okay.
Dreaming about sex can represent a psychological completion, an integration of different aspects of yourself.
So it's not always just about those primal urges.
Not necessarily, though. Those can definitely play a role.
Right, okay.
It can also be about merging different parts of yourself.
Okay.
Like your masculine and feminine energies, your logical and emotional sides.
That makes sense. So it's more about wholeness and integration rather than just physical desire.
Exactly. And what if you dream about sex with someone who's not your current partner?
Ooh, yeah. Those dreams can be awkward.
They can.
Yeah.
But the book suggests it doesn't necessarily mean you want to cheat.
Okay, good.
It might point to dissatisfaction in your current relationship or a desire for more excitement. But it could also represent qualities you admire in that other person. that you might want to cultivate within yourself.
Okay, so it's more about exploring those desires and figuring out what they're trying to tell us about ourselves and our relationships.
Exactly. And sometimes a cigar is just a cigar, even in the dream world.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about a symbol that often gets a bad rap, snakes.
Oh, those dreams always creep me out. But I know snakes are often associated with transformation and healing in mythology, right?
You're right. Snakes are fascinating dream symbols because they can have both positive and negative interpretations.
Okay.
They often represent hidden fears and anxieties, but they can also symbolize transformation, knowledge, wisdom, and even healing.
So like shedding our old skin and embracing change.
Exactly. It all comes back to the context of the dream.
Okay.
Was the snake threatening or helpful? Was it shedding its skin? Was it curled up or striking?
Yeah.
All those details matter.
Okay, so maybe snakes aren't always bad news in dreams. What about fire? Fire seems like one of those really powerful primal symbols.
It is. The book says fire can represent destruction, passion, desire, or even transformation and enlightenment.
Okay.
It's about that raw, untamed energy that can both create and destroy.
So like burning away the old to make way for the new?
Exactly. If the fire is controlled, it might symbolize your own inner fire, your drive and motivation. But if it's out of control, it could point to anger, rage, or a feeling of being overwhelmed by your emotions.
Wow, that's powerful. Okay, what about trains? I feel like trains always symbolize journeys and dreams, like we're headed somewhere.
You're right. The book says trains often represent our life's journey and whether we feel like we're on the right track.
Okay.
If the train is smooth and on schedule, it might suggest you're moving in the right direction. But if it's derailed or you miss the train, it could point to obstacles, missed opportunities, or a sense of feeling lost or stuck.
That's a great analogy. It makes me think about whether I'm in the driver's seat of my life or just along for the ride. Speaking of driving, what about those dreams where we're behind the wheel?
Driving dreams are so common.
Yeah.
And they often symbolize our sense of control.
Okay.
Are you in the driver's seat or are you a passenger? Is the road smooth or are you navigating obstacles?
Okay.
Those details can be really revealing.
Okay, so if I'm driving a sleek sports car down a scenic highway, I'm probably feeling pretty good about things. But if I'm stuck in traffic or lost on a back road, maybe there's some frustration or a lack of direction, I need to address what about dreams about exes? This can be pretty awkward, especially if you've moved on.
They can.
Yeah.
But remember, dreams aren't always literal.
Right.
The book suggests exes and dreams often symbolize unresolved issues or patterns from past relationships that might be playing out in your current life.
So it's not necessarily about wanting to get back together with that person.
Right.
It's more about recognizing those patterns and making sure we're not repeating the same mistakes.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that makes sense. Let's talk about a dream theme that I'm sure makes a lot of people sweat cheating. Those dreams can be so unsettling.
They can. But again, it's not always about literal infidelity.
Okay.
The book suggests cheating dreams often reflect feelings of guilt, self-betrayal, or anxieties about commitment and security.
So if I dream about my partner cheating, it doesn't necessarily mean they're actually cheating or that I want to cheat on them.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's more about exploring those anxieties and insecurities within yourself.
Okay.
Are you feeling neglected in the relationship? Are you worried about being betrayed? Are you questioning your own loyalty or commitment?
Okay, that makes me feel a little less panicked. What about those school dreams that seem to pop up even years after we've graduated?
School dreams are so common.
Yeah.
And they often tap into those anxieties about being tested, judged, or performing under pressure.
Okay.
The book suggests school can symbolize the lessons we're learning in life and whether we feel prepared for those lessons.
So it's like life is giving us a pop quiz and our dreams are reflecting how we feel about being put on the spot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are you showing up prepared? Or are you struggling to keep up? Are you confident in your abilities? Or are you afraid of failing?
Yeah.
Those dream scenarios can be really telling.
Okay. I'm definitely going to pay more attention to those school dreams from now on. What about houses? I feel like houses always represent something bigger in dreams, like our sense of self or our place in the world.
They do. The book says houses often represent our psyche.
Okay.
With each room symbolizing a different aspect of our personality or life.
So like the attic might represent our hopes and dreams for the future, while the basement symbolizes our hidden fears and repressed memories.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if the house is in disrepair, it might reflect a sense of feeling lost, overwhelmed, or like you need to do some inner work.
That's a powerful image. Okay, what about colors?
Okay.
I definitely notice colors in my dreams. but I've never really thought about their symbolic meanings.
Colors can be incredibly symbolic.
Okay.
The book has a whole section on color interpretations.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating how different cultures associate different meanings with colors.
So like red might symbolize passion in one culture, but danger or anger in another.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's important to consider your own personal associations with colors as well as the overall feeling of the dream.
Okay.
What emotions did that color evoke in you? That's often the key to understanding its meaning.
Okay. That makes sense. We've covered so many symbol categories, but there's one that always feels a bit heavy, death. Those dreams can be really intense and sometimes even terrifying.
They can, but remember, dreams speak in symbols.
Right.
And death doesn't always mean what we think it means.
Okay.
The book emphasizes that dreaming of death often symbolizes endings and new beginnings, transformations, and letting go of the past.
So like a symbolic death of an old part of ourselves to make way for a new chapter.
Exactly.
It's about embracing change and recognizing that even endings can be opportunities for growth.
Wow, that's a much more positive way to look at those dreams.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm feeling a lot more equipped to tackle my own dream dictionary.
Good.
But there's one more category we need to address. Those dreams that are so intense, so unsettling, that they jolt us awake in a cold sweat. Nightmares.
Nightmares are definitely a category of their own, but understanding what causes them and how to deal with them can be really empowering.
Okay, let's face those nighttime terrors. What exactly are nightmares? Are they just really intense bad dreams, or is there something more to them?
That's a great question. The book delves into the mythic and psychological roots of nightmares, describing them as these vivid, often graphic depictions of raw, primal emotions.
So those deep-seated fears and anxieties we've been talking about, those shadow aspects that we might not even be consciously aware of.
Exactly. And because those emotions can be so intense, especially when they're repressed or unresolved, they manifest as these terrifying images and scenarios in our dreams. That makes sense. It's like those fears are bubbling up from our subconscious, demanding to be heard. The book mentions that nightmares are particularly common in childhood, right?
They are. It's a time when we're still developing emotionally, learning to regulate our emotions and cope with those big, overwhelming feelings.
So those classic childhood nightmares, like the monster under the bed, the shadowy figure in the closet, those might actually be about something deeper.
Absolutely. It's like our dreams are giving us a safe space to process those fears.
Okay.
Even if it's in a scary or symbolic way.
It's interesting to think about nightmares as a form of emotional processing, even if it's not a very pleasant experience. But nightmares aren't always just a normal part of development, right?
Okay.
The book also talks about traumatic nightmares.
Yes, and those are a different category altogether.
Okay.
Traumatic nightmares are often linked to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
And they can be incredibly debilitating for those who experience them.
So it's not just about having a bad dream. It's about those dreams re-experiencing the trauma, even years or even decades later.
Exactly. And those nightmares often contain symbolic themes that directly mirror the original trauma, like threats to life, safety, or a sense of self.
Okay.
They can be incredibly vivid and realistic, making it feel like the trauma is happening all over again.
That sounds incredibly difficult to deal with. The book mentions that those nightmares need to be treated differently, right?
Absolutely. It's not enough to just analyze the symbols or try to reinterpret the dream.
Okay.
It's about addressing the underlying trauma with professional help.
Got it.
Trauma-focused therapy can be incredibly effective in helping people process and heal from those experiences, which can in turn reduce the frequency and intensity of those traumatic nightmares.
Okay, so we've got those childhood nightmares and then those traumatic nightmares, which are a whole other beast. Are there any other types of nightmares that the book discusses?
Well, it also touches on a more physiological approach to nightmares.
Okay.
Specifically those where you feel paralyzed or unable to cry out, even though you're aware that you're dreaming.
Oh, those are the worst. Like, you're trapped in the nightmare and you can't escape. It's terrifying.
It is. And Edgar Cayce, the psychic we discussed earlier, believed those nightmares could actually be linked to diet.
Wait, what? So what I eat before bed can affect the kind of nightmares I have?
That was Cayce's belief. He thought that certain foods could disrupt our sleep cycles and trigger those unsettling, paralyzing nightmares.
Wow.
It's an interesting theory and definitely worth exploring if you're experiencing those kinds of nightmares.
Okay, I'm definitely going to be rethinking that late night pizza from now on. So we've talked about the different types of nightmares. What about actually dealing with them? Because let's be honest, no one wants to have nightmares.
Absolutely. And the book offers some practical advice.
Okay.
Specifically, a technique called imagery rehearsal therapy.
Okay.
which has been proven to be very effective in reducing the frequency and intensity of nightmares.
Okay, tell me more. How does it work?
It's a really interesting process. You start by writing out the nightmare in detail, remembering all those terrifying images and scenarios.
Okay.
But here's the key. You then create a new positive ending for the story.
So, like rewriting the script of the nightmare, turning it into something less scary and more empowering.
Exactly. You essentially take control of the narrative.
Okay.
And then every night before you go to sleep, you rehearse this new version in your imagination, almost like playing a mental movie.
So we're essentially replacing the negative dream with a more positive one.
Precisely. You're training your mind to expect a different outcome, which can, over time, reduce the power of those negative images and emotions.
That sounds really helpful, and it's something we can do ourselves without needing a therapist.
Exactly. It's about reclaiming your power, even in the dream world.
Okay, so we've covered nightmares. What about those other dreams that aren't quite nightmares but still leave us feeling disturbed or confused?
Right.
These disturbing dreams we talked about earlier?
Yes, and those can be tricky because they often don't have clear-cut symbolism like the common dream themes we discussed.
So how do we make sense of those dreams? Do we try to analyze them the same way?
The book suggests that sometimes it's best to simply let those dreams go.
Really?
Our unconscious isn't always trying to send us a clear, easily interpretable message.
So not every dream needs to be analyzed and dissected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to just acknowledge the dream and move on.
Okay, that definitely takes some pressure off. But what if the dream is trying to tell us something important?
Right.
How do we know when to pay attention and when to just let it go?
That's a great question. The book suggests paying attention to those recurring themes, strong emotions, or a sense of urgency within the dream.
Okay.
Those are often signs that there's something deeper to explore.
So if I keep having dreams about being lost, or if a dream wakes me up feeling really anxious or unsettled,
Right.
those might be red flags.
Exactly. And in those cases, the book recommends journaling about those dream themes,
Oh, okay.
reflecting on their possible meanings, and even talking to a therapist if the dreams are causing significant distress.
Wow, this deep dive has been incredible. We've covered so much ground, from dream history and theory to specific symbols, techniques for remembering and interpreting dreams, and even how to deal with those pesky nightmares. I feel like I've graduated from dream novice to, well, maybe not expert yet.
Right.
But at least a more informed dream detective.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, dream interpretation is a journey, not a destination. The more you pay attention to your dreams, the more skilled you'll become at decoding those messages and understanding what your subconscious is trying to tell you.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, you are now officially armed with the knowledge and tools to start exploring the fascinating world of your dreams. Pay attention, trust your intuition, and most importantly, have fun.
And as a final thought-provoking question to leave you with, what if the most important messages our dreams are trying to tell us aren't about solving problems, but about expanding our understanding of who we truly are? Sweet dreams, everyone.